Hello, it's Rowan from the Eternal Life Fan Club, and today we're going to be talking about the Carnivore Diet. The diet wars have begun, okay? It's the meat eaters, the carnivores, versus the vegans. Who will win? We shall see. Okay, but clearly, a lot of people are desperate these days. They're suffering from extreme health problems. So people are looking for answers. And, the vegans, a lot of vegans are switching. They're getting desperate. They're switching to carnivore diets, and the carnivore people, actually, not much of them are switching. Interesting. But let's see. The carnivore diet. I learned about this from Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter. Okay, Jordan Peterson has a daughter, and she has severe health problems. She's had severe health problems since she was very young. Extreme depression, arthritic symptoms, fatigue. The list goes on. And she cured herself from a lot of her health problems by eating a meat-only diet. So, clearly the diet has useful benefits, and we're going to explore some of those. But first, by the way, Jordan Peterson, he's also on the diet now. His daughter convinced Jordan Peterson to go on this meat-only diet, and lo and behold, he's cured a lot of his problems. Okay, he has had a lot of the same problems that his daughter had: depression, fatigue, extreme feelings of gloomy, dark, depressive moods. So it just kind of runs in his family because they have autoimmune disorders. Okay, so that's the first topic we're going to be talking about in part one. In part one, we're going to be talking about why this carnivore diet is working for so many people. And then in part two, we're going to talk about some of the consequences, the potential consequences of this diet in the long term. So I think the diet can be very beneficial, but I don't know if it's the best in the long term, so we're going to explore some of the potential problems you could run into. But first of all, let's talk about autoimmune. So autoimmune disorder, seems to be this diet is extremely helpful for people who have autoimmune disorder. And autoimmune disorder is basically when the body attacks itself. It's the immune system is getting tricked, and it doesn't know. It actually attacks healthy cells. So it's the body attacking itself. So the body's kind of confused. And what causes this autoimmune condition, I think, in most cases, it actually starts with a virus. So it's a viral infection. The body gets confused. It's attacking the virus, but it's really attacking the healthy tissue because the virus is living, in the tissue, and it's getting confused. So it's actually, the virus is actually causing the body to attack itself. So this could be caused from an STD. People are promiscuous these days, and a lot of STDs are, I think, leading to this autoimmune disorders that are just on the rise. Vaccines, we know vaccines, a lot of them have viruses in them. So I think this is also causing autoimmune disorders. So yes, clearly the diet's going to have beneficial effects for anyone who does have an autoimmune condition. Let's get into lysine versus arginine. So another reason I think this meat-only diet is so beneficial for people is because meat is very high in lysine. So it's extremely high in lysine, and this ratio of lysine to arginine has a huge impact on viruses in the body, because viruses, they use arginine to replicate. Arginine is another amino acid. So this ratio kind of influences how viruses will grow in your body. So what's interesting about this is arginine. What are the high sources of arginine? It's usually plant amino acids. Plant proteins are high in arginine. So and they're actually kind of low in lysine, the ratio. So when someone switches to a meat-only diet, that ratio of lysine to arginine is actually kind of lessening the harmful effect of the viruses in their body. The viruses can't replicate. And so they're going to have benefits just from this better ratio of lysine to arginine. So they're going to have, decreased symptoms of all these viruses that have been causing them so many problems, right? That's another one of the effects, okay? Keto benefits. The carnivore diet, a meat-only diet, obviously is going to have a lot of the same benefits as a ketogenic diet, which is huge. Especially like for brain and mental health. That's why you see a lot of these people who go on the meat-only diet, all of a sudden they can think, okay? And they can think clearly. They had brain fog before when they're eating plants and carbs, but when they go on this meat-only diet, all of a sudden their body's producing ketones, and this allows their brain to think like never before. And this is a huge benefit of the carnivore diet. Especially, you have to think about these people who are infected with viruses. Most people are infected with viruses. So they're especially going to have benefits from this ketogenic diet because viruses actually can impair the brain's ability to use glucose as fuel. So these people who are infected with viruses, their brain can't use glucose as a source of fuel. A lot of times. This is why you find people with Lyme disease. All of a sudden, someone with Lyme disease, which is a virus and spirochete infection, it's impairing the brain's ability to use glucose as a fuel. And when these people take exogenous ketones or when they fast, all of a sudden their symptoms go away. And they can think clear because their body now is able to use ketones as a fuel. And so their brain now, for the first time, it was starved of fuel, and their brain now can use ketones. That's another reason this carnivore diet is having so much beneficial effects, because it just has all the effects of the ketogenic diet, which is amazing. And most of the plants are filled with carbs, most of them. So it's the low-carb ketogenic diet benefits. And then we have heme iron. Okay, these people eating meat is one of the highest sources of heme iron. All of a sudden, their blood's ability to use oxygen, their oxygen capabilities of the blood is enhanced by all this heme iron, because that's what heme iron does. It absorbs so much better than plant iron, and it gives them all this energy because now they have all this oxygen in their blood, carrying oxygen everywhere, so they feel more energetic. It's another reason of the benefits. Now, I think this could have, we'll talk about this more in part 2 and consequences, but I think heme iron, although it has benefits in the short term, so it can make people feel more energetic and lively and maybe even think better, but in the long term, all this iron in the meat, I think, is going to have disastrous effects on longevity. So, because iron is very a pro-oxidant, and it's very hard for the body to eliminate excess iron. So I think all this red meat in the carnivore diet, although it's alleviating a lot of their symptoms from their viral overload and everything, all this iron eventually is going to have disastrous consequences in terms of their longevity. So it's not the best for anti-aging. We'll talk a little bit about more about that, and how to, if you're going to eat meat, how to at least block a lot of the iron absorption. There are ways to block the iron, and we'll talk about that. All right, let's talk about some of these animal nutrients that are giving people so many benefits on this diet. A lot of people are coming to this diet from like a vegan diet, or just a diet that's low in animal products in general. And so when they go on this carnivore diet, their body's being flooded with all these, like the carnosine and these rare amino acids, taurine, and lots of B12, and they're correcting long-standing nutritional deficiencies, amino acid deficiencies. A lot of the minerals they're getting now they're getting like a lot of bioavailable zinc. A lot of the minerals in plants are not really bioavailable because they're kind of bound with phytic acid. They're bound in this plant matrix, and the body can't really absorb these minerals. But when they're getting these minerals like zinc in animal flesh, it's just very bioavailable. The proteins are more assimilable. So they're just getting like flooded with this most nutrient-dense food ever. Leaky gut. So leaky gut is, it kind of comes hand in hand with autoimmune conditions most of the time. because these viruses can actually cause leaky gut. So the viruses are in the bacteria, dysbiosis in the colon. A lot of times it's caused by antibiotics and as well as viruses at the same time. It's kind of a, they're working together in tandem to kind of destroy this person. And they're eating away the gut lining. The viruses, the bacteria, the dysbiosis is causing the gut lining to be weakened and destroyed. And so when these people eat some plant toxins, okay, a lot of these people are extra sensitive to plant toxins. These plant hormetic compounds that Dr. Rhonda talks about, that I've talked about before, these are plant stressors, and they're hormetic compounds because they're toxic. And so, to the meat people, they always talk about these plant toxins in a negative light, but there's actually benefits to these plant toxins. It's because they're stressing the body, and they actually can have a lot of anti-aging effects.
Let's discuss these plant hormetic compounds. There's quite a long list. What differentiates micronutrients from plant hormetic compounds is plant hormetic compounds are actually biologically stressful in the cell, and they trigger cellular stress response pathways that are actually beneficial because the cell over-responds to the otherwise slightly toxic insult.
So by completely eliminating these plant toxins, you do allow your body a rest, and these people, especially people who have a leaky gut, they need a rest from all these plant toxins, these plant hormetic compounds. But ultimately, I think these people should try to repair their gut, and I'll make a whole video about how to repair the gut, how to repair leaky gut if you think you have leaky gut. So ultimately, I think we have to get to the root cause. I think this carnivore diet is a way to it's not getting at the root cause. It's solving a lot of the problems, but I think a better option would be to heal the gut so you can actually eat some of these plant toxins, and it would actually help the body. They would turn on longevity switches, epigenetic switches. The body, I think, to run ideally, to function optimally, it needs these plant hormetic compounds, these stressors. They stress the body out, but they in turn have benefits on the body. And Dr. Rhonda Patrick talks about this. And so this is why I don't think the carnivore diet in the long term is the best option, though, if you're extremely sensitive to all these plant toxins, in the short term, maybe you need to go on this carnivore diet to heal yourself. But I'm going to actually have my own protocol on how to heal the gut, and that's coming on this channel, so check back, subscribe. There's going to be a video on that. So yeah, a lot of this, the leaky gut, it's also caused by the antibiotics. So the antibiotics destroy all the bacteria. Once these bacteria in the colon are destroyed, it is so hard to return the colon back to its homeostasis, where it has the perfect balance of these bacteria. And the bacteria protect the colon from invasive species of bacteria and viruses. This balance of bacteria in the colon is so important.
But this whole gut bacteria thing also, this is an entirely new field of inquiry. No one had any idea about this. You have more bacteria in your body by cell count than cells.
10 to
Human
1.
cells, 10 to 1. You're a walking ocean. And all those little creatures in there, they're producing all sorts of chemicals that are in all probability more conducive to their survival than to yours.
Right on.
So it's a new bottomless pit of mystery. And I'm definitely not saying this is a cure-all. I definitely not. But I know there's multiple pathways to depression.
Yeah, we'll talk about more about that in the future, but then we have the gut-brain connection. This also explains why there's such benefits for people like Jordan Peterson's daughter, Michaela Peterson, because the gut is actually producing all these neurotransmitters. So Michaela Peterson, she had extreme depression. Okay, so it's her autoimmune condition. Whenever she eats these plant toxins, anything from a plant, she gets these severe reactions, actually cause her depression. And this has to do with the gut weird proteins getting in through the leaky gut. So Michaela Peterson likely has a leaky gut. And then also it's caused by, a dysbiosis in the colon, causing an imbalance of neurotransmitters, because these bacteria in the colon are responsible for creating much of the neurotransmitters that make us happy, so we don't have depression and sadness and feelings of despair. And Jordan Peterson had the same sort of issues, where he found that even eliminating green leafy vegetables from his diet alleviated a lot of his symptoms.
And she said to me, quit eating greens. And I thought, oh, really? Jesus, Michaela, I'm eating cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, and chicken and beef. It's like I have to cut out the goddamn greens? It's like, try it for a month. Okay. Within a week, I was 25% less anxious in the morning. Within 2 weeks, 75%. And I've been better every single day. I'm better now probably than I've ever been in my life. And I haven't been taking antidepressants for a whole year.
You wouldn't think green leafy vegetables would cause depression and, fatigue and, gloomy feelings, but actually they do in someone who has these autoimmune conditions. So we need to work on fixing the autoimmune conditions. We have to kill the viruses. Ultimately, we have to kill the viruses that are causing the autoimmune conditions. As long as you have these viruses that are giving you this autoimmune condition, you're probably going to have symptoms from these plant material, these plant toxins, because these plant toxins are in most plants. So we have to kill the viruses. We have to fix the leaky gut. Now, I'm going to create a video on how to fix the leaky gut. I already have a video on this channel that has a lot of strategies as far as how to kill viruses in the body. You basically have to treat your body as though you have the plague, okay? And I have a video called how to beat the plague or something. How to not get the plague. Okay, I'll link this video in the description. And basically, yeah, you have to pretend like you have the plague. You have to fight these viruses aggressively. Aggressively attack these viruses in your body. It's a hard thing to do, but if you do, eventually, and you heal the gut, you can actually eat plants again, and you won't have all these severe symptoms. So now let's get into some of the consequences of this diet.